Home Buying 101, homeowners insurance. So homeowners insurance is often overlooked. It's kind of like the thing that no one thinks about. They're like, oh yeah, I'll get homeowners insurance. How much can it be? And it's something that I see become a problem a lot, a lot in transactions, especially in California, where we've had so many fires. You know, certain areas have flooded, and other parts of the country as well, where there's been huge floods and issues that make homeowners insurance more expensive. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is what I always advise to my clients. So number one, if you are shopping for a home, even before you find the perfect home, if you're looking in a certain neighborhood or part of town, I would get an insurance quote. Now, you can't get an insurance quote based off the town, but what you can do is you can reach out to a local insurance agent or go online. There's a bunch of online websites and type in an address of a house that you like. You don't have to love it. You don't need to write an offer on it. We're just trying to get a ballpark. Okay, so type in the address, see what comes up. Now, if it comes up that it's not insurable, well, that's a red flag. That tells you, hey, look, this may be high fire, it may be high flood. I need to talk to a local agent. So then at that point, I would call a local agent and get a quote. Just say, hey, I'm thinking about buying this house, but I wanted to get a homeowner's insurance quote. Now, that will give you an idea of what you need to prepare for, and it helps me as a lender qualify you properly. Because what can happen is if all of a sudden, let's say I qualify you for $200,000 and I'm assuming that homeowners insurance is $50. Now, I'm just assuming that based off the loan amount. I'm not assuming it based off the area. There are specific areas that I'm incredibly familiar with where I'll just put a ridiculous number in that's high because I know it's going to be high, but it's pretty tough to nail areas down because sometimes it's like 2 streets are really high, 2 streets aren't. It really depends. So where I can have an issue as a lender is, let's say I qualified you thinking it was going to be $75 and oh my goodness, it's high fire and it's flood. Your homeowner's insurance is $500 a month. Yeah, that can happen. I mean, a lot of people think, well, if I'm buying $100,000 or $200,000 house, it can't be that much. There are areas in the country where the homeowner's insurance is more than the property taxes. Seriously. So you really want to know up front that piece, especially if you're payment sensitive. A lot of people say to me, well, I need the rate to be this so that I have my payment be this. And I'm always like, that's great. Get a homeowner's insurance quote because that is a moving target I can't control, you can't control, and it's important to figure out what it is so we can try to meet your payment goal. Okay, so I would get a quote before you write an offer. Once you do find that house and you're ready to write an offer, I would get a quote again and I would find out, hey, what is it going to be? Now, if you haven't done these steps and you're already in contract, get your homeowner's insurance quote on day one. I ask every single borrower I work with, can you please get your homeowner's insurance quote on day one? And the reason is, once again, in certain areas, the homeowner's insurance may be so expensive, they A, don't qualify, or B, they don't want to buy the house. Because sometimes the insurance can be more to the point where it makes the house unsellable. So you really want to be on top of that because with what we've seen going on with the climate and all the dramatic weather across the country, homeowners insurance premiums are skyrocketing. So please shop your homeowners insurance quote up front. I would talk to a couple different people. So for instance, a lot of people assume, well, if I bundle it with my car, I'll definitely get a huge discount. Not necessarily. So you want to make sure you get a couple different quotes. You know, be realistic about your deductible. A lot of people go for the lowest deductible possible, or the insurance people just go, oh, it's a first-time home buyer, we'll offer them the lowest deductible. No, I wouldn't necessarily do that. Look at your finances, look at your picture, but you know, I would do a higher deductible. Personally, I have a pretty darn high deductible. And the reason is I'm not going to put a claim on my house unless it's something I can't write a check for. And the reason is that when you make a claim on your house, it does affect you. I don't care what anyone says, because some insurance people are like, it doesn't affect. Yeah, it does. It totally does, because I see the aftermath of it all the time. I have the clients that are like, oh, this is a terrible story. So I had this one client, I love her, she's so sweet. And she made a claim on her, she called her insurance agent because a suitcase had been stolen out of her car. And the insurance agent's like, oh, no worries, let's put a claim on your house. It has coverage. Okay, so she does that. Then someone drives into her house. I'm not even kidding, drives into her house. And so her insurance has to work with that insurance to get the repairs handled. It's not her fault. Someone drove into her house. And then because someone drove into her house, it triggered some issues with windows, so she made a claim for that as well, okay? Her insurance agent helps her with all of this. Then they drop her. Yeah, the insurance company dropped her. They're like, we can't insure you anymore, bye-bye. And she ended up in a position where no other insurance company would insure her except for this really expensive insurance. So her insurance went from $1,000 a year to $11,000 a year. Yeah, $11,000 a year for 3 years. You know, she finally has it down, not to where it was before, you know, and it's funny because we talked about it and she's like, oh my God, I never would have claimed the suitcase. And the other things she couldn't control. But it's one of those things where it's just like, be really aware of the fact, you know, what can make an insurance person drop you, and what can happen if that happens. So I always do a higher deductible just because unless it's dramatic, I will not call and ask for anything. Something else to consider when you're looking at insurance is cheaper is not always better. So once again, depending on where you are in the country, you may want to go with an insurance provider that is more expensive, but that gives customer service so that if there is a disaster, you have extra benefits. So for instance, you know, and I'm using California a lot, but I live here, so I apologize. So for my house, you know, I'm in a fire territory. I'm in Sonoma County. In Sonoma County, if you saw the news, we had some really terrifying fires. I got evacuated last year for close to 3 weeks. It's scary. It's really scary. And I have Chubb for my insurance, and I love them deeply. They're not the cheapest in town in any way, shape, or form. But I can tell you that when I was evacuated, I could see on the cameras at my house that they were coming by. They were covering the vents so I didn't get smoke damage. They would call me and give me daily reports. They had fire trucks throughout the area to protect the homes, you know, and we're seeing a lot more of that. It's not just Chubb that has the fire engines that come out, and it's not like you're guaranteed it. You know, what they're trying to do as an insurance company is they're trying to save money. It's cheaper for them to have fire trucks out near where fires are, you know, to stop assets burning down than to let them burn down. Because a lot of people go, oh, only rich people. No, like insurance companies, we're seeing this across California. You know, I think State Farm had trucks out. USAA is known to be fantastic in these circumstances. One of my friends got really bad smoke damage because they had left a window open. And USAA was great. They have new carpets. They had to redo the walls, and they took care of that. They really stood by them, which is important, and that's important. So when you're looking for a home insurance company, besides the cost, make sure you look at the service and what they'll do if something goes wrong. So I would look at reviews, and if you see something that's like, this happened, they totally, you know, hosed us. If you see a consistent thread like that, just run away. Because if something goes wrong with your home, you want help. You need someone to be nice. You need someone to take care of it. You need a pro. You don't need someone that's going to put you through loopholes and bureaucracy to try to save a buck. So I hope this has been helpful. Please get your homeowner's insurance quote up front. Try to get it within the first week, because I'm telling you guys, I see this when people don't do it, and it's always at the end, they're like, oh my God, the insurance is $100 more than I thought it would be a month. Yeah, that's why we told you to get it the first day. So please get your homeowner's insurance quotes. If you have questions, comments, call me. If you need a loan, I'm licensed in, at this point, a lot of states. So check the states I'm licensed in. I hope to have all 50 by April. So fingers crossed. Thank you for watching.